Hello and welcome to a Mechwarrior Online video. I'm actually recording this because there's an upcoming patch and I've started playing the game again. Now, one of the problems I've got is my video editing software broke, and so I had to uninstall it. So I've actually downloaded DaVinci Resolve and I haven't quite worked out how to do narration, so I'm having to record this audio blind. As you can probably see, I'm running a Kodiak, which I've only recently bought, and sadly I picked it up after it got nerfed, and I must say, with it being still a basic mech and not quite getting used to it, I am struggling with it. I'm having a hard time getting decent games. Now, I am getting kills, but getting over 300 damage right now for some reason just seems to be evading me. I do better off in a Locust. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to have to tweak. The LBXs, the UACs, and pulse lasers seem to be working for me best. But the meta's obviously Gauss and PBCs. Now that's what's interesting about what could be about to change with this new patch. Looks like they're getting rid of the skill tree as it currently exists and bringing in something they should have done way back when they went into open beta. Now PGI are doing lots of great things with Mechwarrior. They're rescaling mechs, they're releasing better textures, they're fixing map bugs, they're making little tweaks, they're launching some cool mechs. But in classic PGI style, there are problems with it. Now, one of the problems they've got is actually they've now got a bit more competition. Mechwarrior Living Legends seems to be having a resurgence. So if you want online mech play, Mechwarrior Online's not the only kind of dog in town. You've got the Harebrained Schemes Mechwarrior tactical game, which looks really good. Of course, it is using the PGI art assets, which I think are, impeachable. They are just fantastic. They've also, of course, just announced they're bringing out Mechwarrior 5, so they're sort of competing with themselves. The good thing about that, it's Unreal. The other good thing about it is it's using the PGI art assets, which, as I've said, are absolutely fabulous in my mind. The problem is it's PGI, who have not yet got a great track record with a lot of Mechwarrior fans. So there's a lot to hate and a lot to love about Mechwarrior Online still, and this set of patching could draw a load of players back. Whether it's going to make them stay, that is a different story. So I'm a little bit concerned at how things are going to shake out. It seems LERMs are still obviously a thing, ECMs everywhere again. I don't know. I'm enjoying it to a degree, but I am finding it a bit frustrating. Now, one of my biggest concerns is some of the map redesigns are great, but River City, that's probably the most successful redesign. Frozen City, however, they've ruined the map, in my opinion. That used to be a really tight little map. I wish they'd just kept some of the old maps as they were and made them only available in 4x4 game mode, and then launched a 12x12 game mode with nice big maps. Now, for example, not Polar Highlands, or do I mean Polar Highlands? The new snowy one with no cover. A great map from a point of view of scale, but with no cover, particularly where you're actually likely to end up fighting, it's not a good effort, I'm afraid. So yeah, my return has been a mix of, yeah, this is great, but also some of the frustrations are still there. My unit does seem to have lost a few of the key players I used to hang around with, which is sad. Now, a lot of them, because they're not playing Mechwarrior Online, a few because they're moving to other teams due to time zone issues and stuff like that. But this is a trend I'm noticing. I've got a feeling Mechwarrior Online's player base has shrunk after the surge of switching to Steam. So has it got legs to last? That is the question. Now, in the background, no doubt you've been watching my terrible play of the Kodiak. So the gameplay is still essentially the same as way back in, open beta. I think closed beta had some differences with collision and stuff. That's another thing they're talking about bringing back, slightly better collision engine, because at the moment if you touch another mech you can kind of teleport and rubber band. I've also noticed over this weekend some really big either frames per second or ping spikes where a mech will suddenly jump. I saw a commando get an alphid in the face over and over and over again and just didn't seem to take any damage. I think it was about a 5-minute battle before the commando got killed, and in the meantime it was ripping bits off the mech it was fighting. So there are still problems, and a lot of the problems, I have to say, are possibly with the Crytek engine, but also, PGI maybe needing to do some better optimization, and the host rewind issues are still around. So yeah, why am I making this video? Well, it's a great game. I really wish it would do well, but there are lots of decisions they're making, and in particular with this recent patch, I am concerned that it's going to be one of these 3 steps forward, 5 steps back sort of patches. Who can tell? We've said this before, and it's actually turned out great. Like the catapult rescaling was fantastic. Sadly, scaling up a lot of the light mechs has not been so good. So as I say, what they give with one hand, they take away with another. Now I've chucked a lot of money at this game, probably way too much. In particular, I was originally never going to go above 10 mech bays, for example. I have slightly more than that. So why am I still punching myself in the face playing this game if I seem to be so down on it? Well, the problem is, if you love something, you can see the faults in it and you point them out, potentially, because you want them to be fixed. And I think that's where Mechwarrior Online fits in for me. It's a game that could be so much better. If it could take some of the Mechwarrior Living Legends, large maps with capturable bases and the ability to swap out your mechs, maybe... you capture a base, a dropship lands, and you can swap out your mech or get your mech repaired. Obviously, if an arm's been ripped off, well, it's been ripped off. That would be really cool, but that's going to be a lot of work for PGI, and I'm not sure they're going to want to, particularly as they've chucked a load of assets at Mechwarrior 5. Now, obviously, that is a separate team, so it shouldn't really impact Mechwarrior Online, and they can port across a lot of the assets they've used for Mechwarrior Online, which will help them speed things up a bit. Would I pre-order it? Possibly not. I got a feeling it'd be pretty decent, but I've already pre-ordered the Harebrained Schemes BattleTech tactical game, so I'm probably good for giant stompy robots. Now that's the other thing. I was watching a Twitch feed with a couple of guys, and they were talking about the sense of scale, the sense of weight is a little bit off in Mechwarrior Online, and I do agree. I mean, you've got these giant sea clams that actually make your mech look smaller. And even when you see a little car next to the sea clams, mentally it doesn't quite work. The trees are quite big, and then you've got that stupid bog thing where the water lilies are bigger than your mechs and stuff. That is my biggest beef. They need to work on their sense of scale, sense of weight. I still believe they should have had a cone of fire from day one. I still believe the targeting reticle should be not quite so accurate. All sorts of things I could criticise them for, but having said that, they're still here several years later, still, decent sized player base, so they're obviously getting something right, and, I care enough about it to record videos every now and then and have a rant about how things aren't as good as they could be. But yeah, that's pretty good. What else is coming in the patch? What else we got? We've got a new 2C mech. I think it's the Marauder, if I remember correctly. We've got a new version of faction play. I'm glad to see that's getting some love, because that's a great concept. This scouting mode is really good fun. Sadly, faction play is not really quite working. Anyway, I think that'll probably do for now. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the footage, and talk to you another time about Mechwarrior Online, possibly after the Tuesday patch.